So remember, our objective is to solve multiplication comparison word problems by applying the area and the perimeter formula. So we're going to read first. The area of Betsy's rectangular sandbox is 20 square feet. The longer side measures 5 feet. The sandbox at the park is twice as long and twice as wide as Betsy's. Boy, there's a lot of information there, so we're going to have to really think about this. Draw and label a diagram of Betsy's sandbox. What is the perimeter? Well, I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to say, okay, Betsy's sandbox is 20 square feet. So I know the entire square feet can only be 20. The longer size measures 5 feet. So since this is longer, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is my length. So I'm going to go ahead and use this as my length for 5 feet. Now, and it's 20 square feet. So if I have 5 in my length, and this is Miss Aycraft trying to make reason out of it. If I put 5 more on my length, I would have 10. If I put 5 more, I would have 15. And if I put 5 more, I would have 20. So going back up here, it says 20 square feet. So I have 5 and I have 4. So that means that this side would have to be 4 feet. And since it's a rectangle, 5 feet would be on this side and 4 feet would be on this side. And I know that my area equals 20 square feet. Now, it says draw and label the diagram of Betsy's sandbox, which we did. What is the perimeter? Well, remember, finding perimeter, we have a length plus width plus length plus width. So perimeter equals, my length is 5, plus my width is 4, plus my length is 5, plus my width is 4. So my perimeter is going to equal, well, here makes it 10, so there's 10, and there's 8. So my perimeter equals 18 feet. 18 feet. Now, it says to draw and label the diagram of the sandbox at the park. What is the perimeter? Well, going back up here, the sandbox at the park is twice as long and twice as wide. Well, if I do twice as long, that means it's going to be 5 feet and then another 5 feet, because that's twice as long. And wide, it's twice as wide. So twice as wide, that means I'm going to go 4 feet, but it's twice, so I've got to go another 4 feet. There. So I know this is going to be 10 feet, and this is going to be 8 feet. So, and this is my sandbox at the park. So I drew and I labeled the diagram, but I have not answered what is the perimeter. Perimeter equals length plus width plus length plus width. So my perimeter is going to be, if I start here and go this way, there's 10 plus 8 plus 10 plus 8. And I'm back to where I need to be. And those are all feet. So if I look at this, I'm going to add my 10s together because that's 20. And then I'll add my 8s together, which will give me 16. And then add those two together, which will give me 36. So I know my perimeter equals 36. Now, what is the relationship between the two perimeters? Well, this one is 18 and this one is 36. So right off the bat, I see that if I double 18, I'm going to get 36. Because if you think about it, it's twice as wide and twice as long, so it's twice as big. So 18 feet is half of 36 feet. That's what I notice, the relationship. Find the area of the park sandbox. Using the formula, area equals length times width. So if I'm going to look at the area of the sandbox, I know that my sandbox, I'm going to redraw it down here. This is 10 and this is 8. So my area equals length times width. So area equals 10 times 8, and these are feet. So area equals 80 feet squared because I'm multiplying. So the area of the park's sandbox is 80 feet squared. And remember, our objective is to solve multiplication, comparison, word problems by applying the area and the perimeter formulas. We're not finished with this problem, however. So the sandbox at the park has an area that is how many times of Betsy's sandbox? So we are going to have to find the area of Betsy's. Oh, I think we were given that, actually. Yep, it was 20. So the area of Betsy's sandbox is 20 feet squared. And the area of the park's sandbox is 80 feet squared. So, how many times? Well, I've got 20, that gives me 40, 20 more would be 60, and 20 more would be 80. So it's 4 times. So how many times? It is 4 times the size of Betsy's sandbox. All right. Compare how the perimeter changed and how the area changed between the two sandboxes. Explain using words. Well, interesting. So if I had to compare on the sandboxes, we know the perimeter, it doubled. But the area, because if we think about that, the perimeter, if it doubled, so for example, if this was the 5x4 on Betsy's, and this is the area of it, well, when we extended that on out, because it doubled in 5 feet, because this is Betsy's, and we squared that up, then this whole thing is the area. So if I squared that off into force, that's why it's 4 times, but I would only have to double it if it was the actual sandbox. So that's the understanding of why the area increases so much more than the perimeter. And that's how we use multiplication comparison word problems, by applying the area and the perimeter.